students studying the cultural shock and its effect on the international upon their arrival to the United States. From this research or from this study that we are conducting, we wish to make the US best environment for the international, so they won't be shocked when they came in here. As internationals, we all experience the cultural shock upon our arrival. We will be talking about that later.
Thank you, Ahmed. Today I asked people about their experience when they first came to the US and what type of culture shock they had when they came Boulder. I asked Mohammed and Sarah what was their culture shock when they first came to Boulder or US in general.
One of the culture shocks that I experienced when coming to the States was when in class the professor was talking and the student that sat next to me had his feet placed on the table exactly in front of the professor's. Which, like back home, if that happened, you would definitely be kicked out of class. The second thing was when people come up to me and ask me if Kuwait, where the country that I come from, is still in a war with Iraq. And that ended like 21, 22 years ago. And if they come up to me and ask me if we still ride camels, I mean, like, they still think that we come from the third world, so.
When I moved to the state, especially Boulder, I was shocked about marijuana legalization. Also finding a lot of shops that sell marijuana edibles, including brownies, cookies, gummy bear, and chocolate candy bar. I remember when I was hanging out with one of my friends, one of his friends offered me a cigarette and I was like, no thanks, I don't smoke cigarette. And he's like, hey, come on dude, it's weed. And I was like, sorry, I actually don't even smoke weed because it's not legal in my culture.
Both of them had different shocks. The next question is going to help us understand how did they react. So Mohammed and Sarah, what did you do to overcome those culture shocks?
It wasn't hard for me to blend with the American culture because where I come from, we're used to watch American movies and read American novels. So we had a background about the American culture. And when I came to the States and started experiencing, it was okay. I didn't have any hard time. And I mean, the ideas that I experienced over here that were different back home did not cause me much trouble that I'm okay with.
So what I did, some research, and I found that marijuana is used as a medical reason. And that why people think that marijuana is not harmful drug. But that will not make me agree with using marijuana as a drug.
Both of them worked very hard to sustain their original culture. Let's see what Mohammed and Sarah did to sustain their original culture.
What I have seen from the people that come from my country to the United States is that the way they dress up, the way they think, and the way that they talk have changed like 180 degrees. So, for example, like most of the girls come here and they would talk mostly in English and they would dress up in a way that they would not do back home. So I prefer to keep speaking in Arabic and maintain the way that I dress up because like I, as a Kuwaiti student and as a Muslim student, represent my country and my religion, and I must represent it in a way differently than the media does nowadays.
Mohammed and Sarah, how did this experience change your way of living?
So after moving here to the state, it like really made me feel like I want to travel and learn more about other cultures. which I've been planning for this next year to travel to Vietnam, because in Vietnam there is like different kind of cultures, like there is like temples, the food is amazing there, that's what I heard. And I really like, especially when you travel and learn more about different kind of culture, that's probably gonna help you just like to open up to the world and just like learn more, and which I guess it's gonna change the way how the media represent the other side of the world.
I have to be more careful about my words and my actions, and I've also learned to not judge people from different cultures based on what I see from the media. I have learned to first get educated about the culture, to read about it, and then talk about it.
Thank you all of you, Dalal, Sarah, Mohammed, for the great work. Actually, Dalal, after we interviewed all of those guys, wants to talk about her experience. So let's see what Dalal got and what was her experience.
Mohammed and Sarah made me want to share my experience. I was a student at the IEC, and I had my first culture shock there, at my first week actually. I was in one of my classes when I tried to call my teacher with Professor something, and she was like very mad why I did that, and she told me, if you want to call me next time, call me with my name, with my first name. I was like, just give me a second, let me understand what did just happen. And then I went back to her office asking her, why is that? And she told me, if you want here in your culture, if you want to call someone, you have to call him with his first name only, and if you want to use professor, teacher, doctor, or whatever, you have to call him like professor and his last name. So I explained her the reason why I was shocked, because in my culture, we have to call everybody like with his professor, doctor, or whatever, with his first or his last name, because it's the way to show him respect. It's the way to show him how respectful you are, because like either he has a position, or he's a doctor, or he is also an elder man or a woman. This is the way of respect.
Like the old قطعك قطعك دي تزرزرق والله اسمه دي تزرزرق والله اسمه دي تزرزرق والله اسمه
لا قعدي بالعكس المكان وناس هني وايد كل ما ارتاح يعني جمهور. لا attention حبيب صراحة شو اسمه
لمعلومات
US and the United States خلاص, and the type of culture shock they had. They first came to Boulder, and the type of culture shock they had. If time goes back,